All right, guys, our next guest needs very little introduction. He is a UFC Hall of Famer. He is an MMA pioneer, legend, and icon, and he will be fighting Stephan Bonnar in his next fight. He is none other than Tito, the People's Champion Ortiz. Tito, welcome back to Submission Radio. How are you?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's absolutely our pleasure. Now, let's talk about this big fight. You know, Bellator 131, November 15. It's been weeks since the big announcement of your fight with Stephan Bonnar. How you feeling about the matchup? It's clear that you and Stephan Bonnar aren't the biggest fans of each other. Tell us a bit about it.
Talk about disliking a person. My whole career of 17 years, I don't think I've ever hated anybody as much as I hate this person. For a person to talk about my family and talk about my fans the way he did, I just find it very disrespectful. Very childish and fake. He really kicked me off a lot. I mean, he got very personal, like I said, and I'm going to take it out on him on November 15th. Can't wait.
Absolutely, Tito. Now, when the announcement was made, Stephan brought out a masked ninja who turned out to be Justin McCully. Did you have any idea that Justin would be there? And for people at home who don't know, what's your history between you and Justin?
Well, no, I never clue that Justin was going to be there. And for one, Justin actually started his career started training with me back in 2001. I was about 2002, and I treated my father, out of my wing. I brought him to many places where he didn't have to pay for anything, private jets around literally the world. Took him to Necker Island. Took him to Iraq with the USO, but I'm along. It's a great opportunity to be exposure that no other fighter would ever have the exposure that he did. And I did that my kindness as being a friend towards him. Then all of a sudden this guy comes and says that I owe him something, I owe him money or something, and he's going to make me pay back by training Stephan Bonnar. And it comes to realize that I just see that it's just him trying to get his notoriety. It's him trying to get a little bit of 15 seconds of fame. And I guess he got it on last Saturday night. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy to show how fake and how two-faced a person can really be. And, zero loyalty at all. And I feel sorry for him. And I'm going to take it out on Stephan Bonnar on November 15th.
Yeah, I was going to say, with Stephan Bonnar, we saw some interviews recently. He's explained how he planned on bringing Justin in and cutting his promo, and he basically did it all basically to get at you. On November 15th in San Diego, Bellator 131, how happy are you going to be to finally get your hands on Stephan Bonnar?
I'm going to be really, really happy. He wanted to get at me, well, he got at me. I don't know, that's a good thing for him. It's just going to motivate me a little more to train harder and, get me ready for the fight on November 15th. Stephan Bonnar brought in a gimp to me, and it's no more than a gimp. I no longer have a friend, and I think it has that. Justin, the gimp, McCauley, I feel sorry for him as a person because I can't see how he can have another friend at all just because of how fake he truly is.
Now, you mentioned that Stephan overstepped some boundaries on Twitter, and, a lot of people sort of matched you guys together as soon as people thought that he was coming into the company. Can you explain to me sort of what kind of process went through your mind when you saw Stephan being so disrespectful and rude to you on Twitter when it looked like the fight was going to come together anyway? Did you expect Stephan to be like that? I mean, you would have probably had an opportunity to speak to Stephan in your career in the UFC and probably know the guy a little bit. Did you expect him to stoop so low? Some of these comments that he's put on Twitter and social media?
I really didn't expect it. I didn't think of it. I mean, but what has the guy done in the sport besides get his ass whipped? His complete career. I mean, he's known for getting his ass whipped. And to be disrespectful that he has towards me, I don't know. I just kind of scratch my head going, what is this guy thinking? I mean, yeah, he's an American psycho. I mean, more like an American jackass. I'm going to take it out on November 15th. He wanted to get on my skin. He wanted to piss me off, and he wanted to rub me the wrong way. Well, he did all three of them. And like I say, November 15th, it's going to be 15 minutes of torture. I'm not going to try to finish him quick. I'm not going to try to knock him out quick. I'm going to torture him for 15 minutes, and I'm literally going to try to make him quit.
Now, I just want to talk about this brawl because when it happened, the Twitterverse went crazy. Everybody was talking about it. From what we saw, you were cutting a promo on Stephan, and then mid-sentence, you pushed him and the brawl started. It seemed like, while you were talking, he was mouthing or saying something to you. Did you anticipate push him, or was it something that he said while you were talking?
I couldn't handle myself. I think when he was just saying the first stuff about my family, and then he made an acknowledgement of the GIMP, I just said, you can't talk about my family, you can't talk about my fans. I just couldn't hold my, kind of like, I don't know if you watched the movie Pipeline, and Brutus blinks his eyes and sees completely red. And that's what I felt like. I felt like a bull just seeing red, and I couldn't really hold. I couldn't even get my sentence out completely. And I just had to put my hands on him. I should have punched him, but I know I would have been paying a big fine for that, so I didn't do that. So I had to put my hands on him one way or another. And I did get an opportunity to spit on him, so I guess that helps out a little bit better.
Well, Stephan Bonnar has had a lot of great fights. Obviously his Ultimate Fighter one finale is a historic night for the UFC, but he's obviously had a bit of controversy near the end of his career with the situation surrounding his fight with Anderson Silva. I don't need to go into that. We all know what happened around that situation. So my question to you is,
what do you mean, the fact of him getting burned for steroids? Yeah, the fact that he got burned for steroids not once but twice. The guy's a phony. The guy's a fake. The guy's, he's just a cheater. My whole career, I stuck to the game plan of training hard and getting the best out of it. I became a world champion in a year-and-a-half competition. Defended my world title 5 consecutive times. I have the most fights in UFC history. I put it by myself as someone could be so disrespectful, who had such a shitty career, and to be a shitty person. But I guess, you can be talked about as much as possible by coming down to, disrespecting a fighter as the rankings.
Absolutely. And, does Stephan offer any challenges to you in this matchup? Do you see him offering any kind of obstacle to you in this fight?
I think the only obstacle is going to be is that's what he's going to take. He's talented. He's a tough guy. He can take a beating. But let's see how long he can take a beating. Let's see if he can take a beating for the whole 15 minutes. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to count him. I'm going to try to hurt him. I'm going to try to shove my elbow through his face. And I'm going to make it exciting for the fans. Like I say, I'm going to be in great shape. 15 minutes is going to be a walk in the park. And I'm going to blast him. I'm going to blast him on his feet. I'm going to blast him on the ground. I'll blast him in every position I possibly can. And there'll be bad intentions every punch I throw at him, every kick I throw at him, every elbow I throw at him, every knee I throw at him. I ain't going to look for submissions. No submissions in this fight. I ain't going to let them happen. I'm just going to try to hurt him. Either I break my elbow on his face or I break his face.
That's exactly the kind of fight that people want to see. One thing though, Tito, after the brawl, when the Twitterverse was going crazy and everyone was talking about it, some people talked about how they thought the brawl may have been preempted. Now that we've got you here, tell us about how real this feud between you and Bonnar is.
I don't know. Anybody could think about it. Growing up in high school, growing up in college, and growing up in life in general, if someone talks about your family to your face and disrespects you and says lies about you, and just the anger that could be built up from that, and the animosity that could be built up from that, and just being so disrespectful towards me. Like I say, in 17 years of competition, I've never hated anybody as much as I hate this guy. Ken Shamrock, yeah, we had hate towards each other, but our animosity settled down. We fought it out. We shook hands after, and now we're good friends. There ain't gonna be no handshakes after this fight. I ain't gonna shake his hand. I ain't gonna look him in his eyes. Nothing. And like I say, I'm just gonna beat his ass. And I'm going on to get my world title fight. I was supposed to have a world title fight for this one, but I ended up just giving it up for a factor of fighting Stephan Bonnar. That's how much I hate him. I gave him a title challenge.
And just to be clear, just for all the people out there that thought the brawl might have been staged, there was nothing staged about it. You didn't have any knowledge of it or anything like that. Is that correct?
Well, what was that question one more time?
I was asking, just for all the people that thought the brawl might have been staged, it was not staged. You didn't have any prior knowledge, nothing like that.
No, I have no knowledge at all. I was like, what the hell's going on right now? I thought we're just going to do a face-off and so forth, and I was going to have to slap him or something. But all of a sudden, there was some guy with a mask walking in, and I'm like, what the hell? And I was like, okay, you got bodyguards, so he knows I'm going to put my hands on him. And then all of a sudden, he revealed the GIMP, and I was like, oh, okay, great, here we go. And I just, like I said, it was, the anger was built up so much I couldn't control myself. I couldn't get a sentence out right because I was so angry. And like I said, it wasn't staged. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just thought we're going in the cage to do a face-off.
Absolutely, Tito. Now, we spoke about the controversy surrounding Stephan before. I'm just wondering, going into this fight, will you be demanding a more scrupulous drug test going into this one? Is there anything in particular you'll be demanding going into this one to make sure the fight's fair and even?
No, hopefully he just steps up and fights. And like I said, I want to put on a show for the fans. I'm going to do what I do every one of my fights and make it interesting, make it exciting, and get my hand raised.
Now, Tito, we told the fans you were coming on the show, and they sent in a few questions, so we'd like to ask you a few of those, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so from the fan questions, Jerome Dome, he wants to know, what do you think about TNA's current situation? Do you believe the company will shut down? And if you could have a pro wrestling match, who would you have it with and why? Bit of a long one.
Well, I'm not 100% sure if TNA is over or not. I mean, I've always been a big professional wrestling fan. You know, I mean, back in the days when I was a kid, watching Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. And, you know, I guess when I went with TNA, it was great. They treated me really well. You know, Dixie Carter was really, really good to me. Like I said, I couldn't thank the things that she helped me out with. During the time I was there, I got a chance to meet Hulk Hogan. I was really happy with that. But, I mean, it's a WWE, it's a TNA, but, I mean, right now my main career is fighting. I mean, I love to fight, and that's what I want to do. That's what Bellator.
Absolutely. Now, Tito, we got a question here from Jerry Can. Jerry Can would like to know your opinion. Basically, he says Dana White compared you to Ben Askren. He basically said that he thought you were the dumbest guy he ever met, and that Askren is an absolute moron, and he believes that Ben Askren is copying everything that you do, and that you ought to sue him for stealing that one. What did you think about Dana bringing you up in conversation yet again, and in a bit of a negative light?
Well, you know, Dana always tried to make me look bad as much as possibly can, but I guess I'm still in his head. I haven't been with him for almost 2 years, and he's still talking about me, and he can't stop talking about me. So I guess I'm not that dumb of a guy. And, you know, for him to compare me to Ben Askren, who's Olympic medalist, cool. But, I mean, fight-wise, Ben Askren hasn't done anything close to me in the fight game, but maybe he will in time. You know, Dana's a control guy. He likes to control everything, and he just couldn't control me, and that's why he hates on me so much. But, I mean, I really look at it as if someone's still talking about you, you're doing something right.
Having worked with Dana, now that obviously you work with Scott Coker, who's, and a lot of people say, you know, very much a contrast to Dana. Tell us about, you know, what it's been like working with Scott since he's taken over Bellator.
Well, you know, I've known Scott for like 15 years, and he's always been really, really good to me. And when Bellator hired him, I was over-exaggerated happy. I was just like, oh, my God, thank God. There's angels looking out over us. And I believe he's going to save this company. And the last few events, you just watch how bright it is and how clean it is, and the fights are great. And, you know, just the fan reaction is amazing. And Scott has always been a straight shooter. There's been no shade to him at all, you know. He's always stuck to his word. You know, he's kept his word in everything he's ever done. You know, he's never been two-faced at all, like a lot of other promoters have been. And I know I really look at it now that this company's going to be saved because of Scott Coker.
And, you know, just speaking of Scott and Dana, what would you say are the biggest differences between the two? Obviously, they're both very successful presidents of the company, but what do you notice are some of the differences between the two, seeing as you worked so closely with both of them?
You know, one's real, one's fake. And I really think as real as can get is Scott Coker.
Absolutely. And now, Tito, before we jump to the tap-out round, we have one question here coming in from Twitter. We have a question from Dirty Bird 2. He wants to know, if you could fight, would you fight in heavyweight? Or would you preferably fight anyone in Bellator in heavyweight in the future? Is there a possibility that you could potentially match up with a guy like Bobby Lashley or anything like that? Or were you set in staying in light heavyweight for the majority of your career?
You know, I plan on staying at light heavyweight. You know, like I said, I walk around 220, 225 at the heaviest during training camp. My goal is to get a world title on my waist. I have 3 more fights left with Bellator, and, you know, when that's done, I plan on being retired. You know, I'll be 40 years old next year, and my body's still reacting. My brain's still right on target. You know, when I'm punching mitts, I'm perfect. When I'm sparring, I feel great. My coach said I haven't slowed down at all, and I'm able to push myself now. You know, I have a very positive environment around my life now. Now I've got a really challenging relationship. Now I have a girlfriend now, Amber Nicole Miller, who's amazing, who's my best partner, who's, you know, respects me and pushes me and, you know, in the right direction during training. And, you know, when you want someone to excel your mind during training camp, I mean, I'm glad I have her to help me at that point. You know, she helps with my children. So it's challenging being a single father, but like I say, I want to make sure that I get the most out of these next 3 fights, and by the time I retire, I'll be world champion and walk off in the sunset with the title around my waist.
That would be awesome. And, as the saying goes, behind every great man, there is a woman. Now, to wrap things up, Tito, we're going to do what we did last time with you. It's called the Submission Radio Tap Out Round. Whole bunch of fun questions, and you want to answer them with the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, who's a guy in Bellator that you think could be a big star one day?
God, there's so many guys over there. There's so many guys that are really, really tough, man. I'm trying to think of the guy at the top of my head.
Hey, Michael Page.
I watch the Will Brooks kid is amazing. Chandler, I mean, they're on the card with me, and both those guys are amazing. I mean, Chandler is just amazing. But Will Brooks, he's a stud too. I mean, these kids who just came up and became men and are former world champions and now world champions. I mean, stars coming up. I mean, these guys are stars coming up. I mean, what Bellator is doing on Spike TV, and Spike's giving an opportunity from Viacom to push this company of Bellator to the next level. Having stars like this is great to see. I think it's just success. It's going to happen. It's just going to overshine because of Scott Coker. And like I say, the 2 guys that I watch now is Will Brooks and Michael Chandler. And I watch these guys fight, and they're amazing.
Absolutely. Now, Tito, you fought all over the world. What's a country where you'd like to fight where you haven't fought before? And let me follow that up with saying, now that Scott Coker's running the company, perhaps we might see a Bellator event here in Australia.
Yeah, Australia. I would love to come to Australia. I would love to come to Australia. When I came there, I did actually with MMA everything. Actually, I was able to do seminars out in Australia, and there was nothing like it. The people are amazing there. Everybody are really, really cool, very genuine, nice as can be. I actually almost felt like I was at home. And I've always wanted to go to Australia, and I went there, and I didn't want to leave. I mean, I ended up staying there for 10 days, and, I was really happy that Rocco brought me out there. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, we were in the MMA fight store not too long ago, and they were talking about how awesome it was when you came down, and how you were talking to every fan for a while. It was like people were lining up around the door. But just quickly, Tito, main motivations that you keep that keep you working hard after so many years when you're going into the gym and training.
It comes down to my fans, my boys, my twin boys, my son Jacob. It comes down to my kids and supporting for them. Because my biggest fear is to be broke. I don't want to be able to never take care of them. That'd be, the worst nightmare in the world. So I think my children have to be my number one motivation. I'm a family man, and I just try to provide for my kids no matter what. That's my number one. But my fans who support me, that's 17 years of competition, and I'm still one of the most talked about MMA fighters in the world, and I'm thankful for my fans. If it wasn't for my fans, I wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely. You've been a part of the fans' life for such a long time. And speaking of something the fans love, your walkout T-shirts. What would you say has been your favorite walkout T-shirt in your career? What are some special ones that stand out in your mind that you've worn to and after your fight in the octagon and all over the world?
I think when I had the white long sleeve shirt with the circle punishment flame fist logo when I fought Ken Shamrock. That would have been one of my favorites for sure.
That was awesome. Now, does Tito Ortiz play in any other casual sporting comps like basketball or soccer with your friends, with your mates?
No, not really. I'm a big fisherman. I love to fish. Like I can't get enough fishing. I bought my house on the harbor. That's on the ocean that I fish as much as possible. Fishing is my deal. I love to fish, but that's it. When I sign a contract with a company, I kind of don't try to do anything else, because if I do football or basketball or soccer or anything like that, I have a chance to hurt myself, and I don't want to have that chance, because I sign a contract usually for a big dollar amount, and I don't want to hurt myself.
Absolutely, Tito. Now, you've had so many surgeries in your career. Let us know, how does Tito feel on a day-to-day basis when you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed?
I feel very blessed. I feel thankful. My neck gets a little sore sometimes the way I sleep, but that's it. I thank God I have no back problem anymore. I got the surgery done, and it was healthy, and the recovery was great because of the surgeon, Dr. William Smith, out of Las Vegas. My neck is not 100%, maybe 98%, but I still have the aches here and there. That's pretty normal to have, fused C6, C7 in your neck and a disc replacement 3 and 4. I think it really comes down to, just to get up and train and able to do the things. I'm blessed. I'm thankful for it.
Now, Tito, when is the awesome Tito Ortiz mustache coming back?
Mustache coming back in Movember. Come on, everybody know that. we have for the cancer, anti-cancer, Movember Monday. Or excuse me, yeah, exact same thing in November. It's called Movember.
That's it.
Well, we're going to have to jump on that. And finally, Tito, you mentioned how much you want to smash Stefan's face in, but give us the official prediction. How do you plan on winning against Stephan Bonnar on November 15th or 16th here in Australia at Bellator 131?
Either the referee ripping me off, of him being a bloody mess, or it just being a decision of him really kind of get himself off the ground and, mopping himself off the mat.
Awesome. We can't wait. Guys, don't forget to check that out. As Dennis said, November 15th in Australia, because of the time difference, November 16th, Bellator 131. And don't forget to follow Tito on Twitter at Tito Ortiz. And, of course, catch that big fight. Tito, as always, pleasure having you on the show. Thanks so much for coming back, and good luck in your fight.
I appreciate it, man. I thank all my fans in Australia and New Zealand. I appreciate you guys very, very much, and hope you guys can tune in on November 15th on Spike and watch me beat down Stefan the Fake Bonnar.